I'll show you all around right now what we're looking at. It's a beautiful morning here at Point Lobos. We're out at Coal Chute Point. You can see it's nice and calm, not too windy. Got all these squadrons of pelicans flying by. Point Lobos. So we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Alex, and I am an interpreter here at Point Lobos State Natural Reserve. And
I'm Violet, and I'm an interpreter for the Monterey District with a focus on Indigenous programs.
So we are here to talk about our awesome new app here at Point Lobos State Natural Reserve, the virtual adventure app telling the untold stories of Whalers Cove. So we're just going to give you a brief introduction about what the app's about, how to download it, a few of its features. And if you have any questions about the app, you're welcome to ask it at the end of this program, which should be around 10 minutes, using our Q&A feature. So there's a Q&A feature. If you have any questions, go ahead and use that. Real quick, if you're not familiar, Point Lobos is a state natural reserve, part of the California State Park system on the central coast of California, about 15-20 minutes south of Monterey. So I'll show you on the map real quick where we are to kind of get an understanding. So of course, we're on the west coast. We zoom in. The center of California, we're about 2 or 3 hours south of the San Francisco Bay, a little bit south of the Monterey Bay. There she is, Point Lobos, the natural reserve. So we are on the North Shore today, a little bit north of Whalers Cove on Coal Chute. So that's where we are right now. And like I said, it's just an awesome morning to be here. So it is a California State Parks Week, and we have events going on through Sunday the 18th. Today is supporting climate resilience. To be honest, Violet and I just had to find a date that worked for both of our schedules, but in a way, this does support climate resilience. It supports your climate resilience because you're building a love for California State Parks when you're using an app like this. So we're trying to build that respect, build that love for our beautiful public lands, and that builds your climate resilience. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the app. Like I said, go into a few of its features, and at the end, we'll have Q&A. So Violet, would you mind sharing with us what the general scope of the app is?
Sure. So Virtual Adventurer is the name of the department's new mobile app, and it takes you on an immersive experience through both augmented and virtual realities. So it allows you to discover and interact with people, places, and events that have played a role in our state's rich history. It was developed as part of the Reexamining Our Past initiative to really bring up some of these stories that maybe you haven't heard before. So on your screen is a list of some of these untold stories of Whalers Cove. So some of those stories from the Point Lobos State Natural Reserve that you may not have heard. And so on your screen, you have a list. Should we go through these?
Sure, we'll just buzz through them real fast.
All right, real fast. So we have the untold story of the kelp forest, the U.S. military during World War II, the first Chinese immigrants, the Azorean whalers, the Ethelin tribe of Monterey County, the Costanoan Rumsen Carmel tribe, the Monterey cypress tree, and
Kira Obata.
Japanese
artist. So I'm going to show you all just a few quick features, and then we'll show you how to download it so you can examine all of these features. So I'm going to turn my screen up so we're portrait. So this is on the Carmelo Meadow Trail. All right, so if you're just going around, or pardon me, the Granite Point Trail, if you're going around Whalers Cove, and do you notice anything funny about this photo? You probably noticed the tree looks a little bit strange. It is a tree that I placed there using augmented reality. So that tree does not exist. I put that tree there, and you're able to put that tree anywhere. Put it in your living room. You can come here to Point Lobos and put it right there if you want to. So augmented reality takes a picture of what you see in real life, this beautiful vista on Whalers Cove, and puts down a tree so you can examine, get up close, and take a look at things such as the Monterey cypress, the untold story of the Monterey cypress, about its cones, about its roots, stuff like that, its leaves. So here's another close-up image of it. So using augmented reality, you can examine a Monterey cypress up close, learn about its features, and then 5 minutes later, walk up to a real Monterey cypress and take a look at the real thing. So that's pretty cool. All right, so here's a short video. So you can see we're able to put this augmented reality Monterey cypress almost anywhere. This is just in the parking lot in front of my office, and get an up close view of what an actual Monterey cypress roots look like underground. It's amazing. That is yours truly. That's me dressed up like an Azorian whaler, telling the story of Whalers Cove. So there's different whales here, so you can learn more about that. Here's some underwater footage taken by our previous interpreter, Daniel Williford, who also narrates much of this app. Thanks to Daniel. Shout out to Daniel for doing such a great job. And we have some underwater footage of the kelp forest here at Whalers Cove. That's an untold story that we want to tell. Right. So with that last kind of series, you may have heard the audio. That was about Kiro Obata, a Japanese artist who spent a lot of time here at Point Lobos painting these beautiful landscapes. And one of the reasons he visited was because Genosuke Kodani, who established our abalone cannery, was one of his good friends. So you can learn about all those types of stories. And Violet, if folks want to download and play this app and bring it to Point Lobos, is it better that they come here to the park and then download it, or what should they do about that?
So you can download it at the park, but it's probably best if you do it beforehand. So on your mobile device, you can download the app using QR codes, which we're going to share in just a moment. You can also go into your app store and search Virtual Adventurer and get the app. And then you can select the park that you want from either the map view or the list view, and download it before you get here.
Yeah, downloading before you get here is probably the best option because it's a pretty big file, around 500 megabytes. And remember, you can do this at home as well, but it's even cooler if you can do it at Point Lobos, of course. So there are the QR codes if you have an iPhone on the left, Android on the right. It'll take you to the App Store or the Google Play Store. Just wanted to bring those up. So it's time for a little Q&A. If you do have any questions about the app, now is the time to ask them. All right, and what's our first question, Violet?
All right, looks like we got a question here. How long did it take to develop the app, and who did you work with?
So we worked with a company called Time Looper, and they develop apps like this for not only Point Lobos, but for many other California state parks. So there's a lot more state parks that you can download this app and play them as well at home or actually at the park themselves. And it took us about a year or so to develop this app. So it did take quite a while. We're proud of its development and we hope you enjoy it.
All right, awesome. Looks like we got another question here. How can you turn on captioning and other accessibility features on the app?
Great question. So there's a lot of accessibility features in the app. We want to make sure that everyone can use this app. And so I'll show it to you right now. All right, so if you're in the app, in the upper right-hand corner, just click on that box that has all the horizontal lines in it. That'll take you to a menu. And then that menu pops up on the right side, and you'll click on the accessibility. And once you click on the accessibility, you can play with a whole bunch of things, including audio descriptions, audio captioning, the different ways that the text presents itself. So there's a lot of accessibility features. on this virtual adventure app, which is awesome.
All right. So looks like we have a question. What's one of your favorite experiences from Point Lobos in the app?
One of my favorite experiences in this app is probably the story of Kira Obata, the Japanese painter, because before researching Kira Obata, had not known that he did some amazing works here at Point Lobos. So being able to see a world-class artist who also did many other things throughout California, including some really famous ones of Yosemite, I encourage you to look those up. It was really cool to see. We see artists here all the time, but to see like a really famous artist do some work at Point Lobos, that was pretty special.
Is the app free?
Good question. The app is 100% free, so you don't have to pay 1 cent to get this app. It's free to use. There's no in-app, downloads that you have to purchase or anything like that. It is totally 100% free.
All right. What was the most unexpected thing you discovered while researching the app?
I would say the most unexpected thing I discovered while researching the app, not only about Kira Obata, but also when researching our Azorian whalers. Obviously, we know whales are big animals, they're tough animals, but it turns out that whaling, obviously, it's something that we would never do today. People still do it to some extent, and it's harmful, but it is a very intense activity. It would take several hours or sometimes several days just to get one whale because they're fighters. They're not just animals that simply go down with a few harpoons. They would fight for a long time. So it was a battle, 100%, to get these whales, and the duration of these battles with each individual whale was something that surprised me for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for your questions. If you have any remaining questions, we're going to pull up a screenshot of an email address for you to send your questions in, and Alec will help you out with that. So thanks for joining us, and we hope you check out the Adventurer app.
Yeah, so you can contact us here. This email address, pointlobos@ports-ca.us for any additional questions. And we're so excited about the app. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did. And thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day and an awesome rest of your state parks week. Bye-bye.